Welcome to Tales from the Green Room, backstage conversations from popular music venues around the country, curated by Mount Tam Media. Listen in as host Dennis Truzullo and Mount Tam Media founder Tammy Larson dig up conversations with artists before and after shows in the exclusive confines of the Green Room. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tales from the Green Room with your host, Dennis Truzullo.
And co-host, Tammy Larson.
Hey, Tammy.
Hey, Denden.
Okay, so we've been waiting on this one for a while. That would be the release of this episode with the ladies of the Grateful Dead royalty, Hunter, Garcia, and Kesey. And what I mean by that is we had the pleasure of interviewing Jess Keilt, who is Robert Hunter's daughter, Trixie Garcia, who is Jerry Garcia's daughter, and Sunshine Kesey, who is the daughter of Ken Kesey. And both Trixie and Sunshine share the same mom, and that's Mountain Girl. And let me tell you something. When we came across these three women of Grateful Dead royalty and had an opportunity to interview them, it was like, wow. Just seeing them, wait until you see the photos that go along with this. Seeing those three and talking to them was a real treat. And today, Jerry's birthday, is the time for this one to come out.
Yes, and a little backstory, which is pretty funny. I actually was introduced to Jessie Keilt and Trixie backstage at Skull and Roses, and Vince Herman from the Leftover Salmon happened to be wandering backstage, and they were backstage as well. And so he introduced me to them, and I said, hey, it'd be great to get all three of you actually on an interview tomorrow. And they were, oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah, sure, we'll be into it. And then the next day I was interviewing someone else, and I looked over and I saw them go, oh, no, is that her? Because they're not into being interviewed all that much. And so they saw me see them, so I went over and said, hey, are you ready to go? And reluctantly at the time they said yes, and then they grabbed Sunshine, sat down, and I actually interviewed them with No Simple Road. Shout out to the No Simple Road podcast. And Mel and I had the privilege of really talking to them. It was actually Earth Day, so they were very excited to talk about that. But anyway, it was a funny way in order to get them to sit down together. But they ended up having a fantastic time.
I was going to tell
you about that.
I was going to say they did. At the end of the day, they decided this was fun, especially amongst the chaos that went along with it. And definitely a shout out to No Simple Road, both Mel and Aaron. And Aaron and I stayed in the background a little bit because this was really a ladies thing, but we popped in for a couple of dumb questions, I guess. But I think one key to this is our late co-host, Augustino Orpeza, who we affectionately know as Augie from our prior podcast, who passed away since this interview, was very involved. And he jumped in, and being a native of San Francisco, he really related, and as am I, but he really related, especially to Trixie and about Jerry Day. Jerry Day is coming up in a couple of days too. So if anybody listens to this right away, they can go to Jerry Day at McClaren Park in San Francisco, which is really a benefit for the Friends of Jerry Garcia Amphitheater. Not necessarily a benefit because it's free, but they certainly welcome donations. And it is an amazing event in Jerry Garcia's neighborhood where he grew up. And that amphitheater and that entire foundation, Friends of JGA, they call it, has been responsible for keeping that McClaren Theater, which is now the Jerry Garcia Amphitheater, and the whole open space around it preserved. And that was just a big thing that Augie delves into. So one other little funny story is on that same day. By the way, backstage, which Tammy was referring to, this was at the Skull and Roses concert. So also backstage that particular day was Betty Cantor Jackson. And so we were very excited to interview Betty. And we got, again, Mel and Aaron together. We huddled around, and it was very noisy, first of all, backstage.
Yeah,
I mean, extremely noisy. And we finally got her over. We had been planning it for a couple of days. And she came over there and said, okay, I'm going to do it. And she's a great lady and, feisty, I guess I would say. And so we sat down with her, and we did this pretty darn good interview. I mean, it went on, and it was good banter back and forth. And when all was said and done, the recording was compromised.
It was compromised, yeah. It was like, you've got to be kidding.
And so, of all people that you're going to interview and have a compromised recording, you don't want it to be with a recording engineer, let alone one of the most famous ones in Grateful Dead history. But we recovered. And Mel and Aaron, you don't even know that we recovered yet, but by the time this comes out, you will know. But I have to tell you, we tracked her down again, and this was at the Terrapin Sunday Daydream Volume 3.
Just recently,
2 weeks ago, I think it was. And she was a backstage guest there, and we implored her to try it again.
it took a couple minutes, or a lot of minutes, but we actually did it, and she was great. I think it was, it was still noisy, but thank God for production engineers.
Yeah. We did offer her some, incentive. She was really looking for a joint the whole time. But she's an amazing lady. If you're a deadhead, as she says, if you're a deadhead, you know who she is. And you may have heard of the Betty Boards. So enjoy that one, followed by, which follows the interview.
The Hunter Garcia Trixie.
I just like to say Hunter Garcia Kesey.
Oh,
I mean, it's pretty amazing. And then Betty Cantor Jackson. So female Grateful Dead royalty on today's podcast episode on Tales from the Green Room. Enjoy.
Okay, so this is Mel. I am 1/3 of the host from No Simple Road podcast. And then we have
Tammy Larson with Tales from the Green Room and Women Are Smarter.
Woohoo!
We're going to be talking about the Women Are Smarter today.
That's right. So we are teaming up, doing a podcast for Skull and Roses and getting a piece of history. And it just happens to be Earth Day. Thank you, Sunshine, for saying that. I thought it would be awesome to just like your mini bio, a little bio, so everybody knows who we're talking to enrich the history of what's going on here, bring a little bit of our tether, how we all got here, and how it relates to Earth Day.
Okay. Hey, my name is Sunshine Kesey. I am the progeny of Mountain Girl, a prankster, and Ken Kesey. And I was raised in the Grateful Dead family. And this is such a lovely tribute show to the Grateful Dead that we couldn't miss it. It's a big family affair. And that's why we came.
Right on.
Hi, this is Trixie Garcia. I'm Jerry and Mountain Girl's daughter, here to support my family, support this wonderful festival, which is really a labor of love. This is our family. It's been a family gathering backstage here. So many people we know from so many different moments. So thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here. I'm getting emotional already.
Hi, I'm Jessie Keilt. I'm Robert and Maureen Hunter's daughter. Yeah, I'm here having a really good time with you guys. This is a lot of fun.
What's, from your perspective, what's the history of being behind the scenes and just growing up in this lifestyle? What is that, your normal childhood? What has that been like for you?
You know, it's hard to say because I don't have anything else to compare it to.
Yeah, so if you were to describe it, you wouldn't be like, it was so grand. How would you describe it?
That's a really good question.
Right?
You know, I mean, back when we were kids, it was a lot of fun. It was really set up for us kids to have a great time backstage. We had an awesome kids scene always. And this is very reminiscent of an old Grateful Dead show here. The family vibe, the love from everyone. It's really nice.
Aww.
Yeah.
So did you all spend a lot of your childhood together?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I was wondering because
there was a time where Hunter and Jerry were like living together briefly, and the families are really merged. That was way before my time, but Sunshine and Jessie here have known each other since childhood.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I know a little bit about what you're doing. You know, I'm busy. I was reading that you're adding a lot of value with the archives at UC Santa Cruz.
Yes.
Yeah, the official Grateful Dead archive is at UC Santa Cruz, and I just want to make sure that everything goes to where it belongs, and all I see is people testifying how the Grateful Dead changed their lives, and I see that as value to like humanity.
Yeah.
And it's part of my job to make sure all that stuff is protected, and there's a long-term plan so that people can still have access to the music in the distant future.
Yeah, that's great. You know, so I was reading recently one of the letters that your dad wrote, like a year after Jerry passed.
Yeah.
And and he was wondering what was going to happen with the music and if it was going to continue. He's like, I think it is. People are still a little bit worried about stepping on. I mean, it's hard to replace Jerry, of course. But so how do you guys feel about that? Seeing like where it's gone and where it's going, even with the Latin Dead. And
I really think it surprised all of us that it just had such a life of its own, and it kept happening, and new incarnations of it came to be. I mean, and obviously this shows all of that.
yeah. Do you all attend festivals on a regular basis like this, or is
No, I don't. I don't venture too far away from home. We have our own little Oregon Country Fair, events, but coming out on the road is not something I try to do anymore. But it's a great scene. I mean, I'm glad to be here and enjoy all the different levels of caravan and carnival that people are bringing to this place.
You've been to Burning Man several times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't miss that.
Can't miss that.
Yeah. Yes, it has.
We were talking to Rosie McGee yesterday, and she was talking about just her normal role of whatever needed to get done because it was a family. It wasn't necessarily dictated or not dictated. It was just if you were able, you did that. And it wasn't seemed as a big deal or not. It was just a fact. And I wonder, like, with you and kids and growing up, like, was it seamless? Just, like this, you're my sister, you're my cousin, you're my friend, or whatever, how family, whatever the loose term. What was it like that growing up for you all? What do you remember from that time? Like what was instilled or how you were raised?
Yeah, we all were part of a big circus, basically, and you had to pull your weight and don't get left behind. And, my dad's bus, when the bus is pulling out, there's Hit the Road, Jack. You hear playing, you better get on that thing or you're going to be left behind. So it's like kind of a moving circus, and same with rock and roll. It's all, you got to keep up and be a hand and keep the act rolling. Yeah. Showbiz, man.
Sounds like there's a lot of humor.
Oh, totally. No, circus full of clowns for sure.
Right on. So, okay, and we were talking about because it's Earth Day. Is there anything special that you want to share or anything that pertains to Earth Day that you can kind of remember growing up or some of the things that living together kind of promoted on its own without it even being Earth Day, what it was promoting in nature and with the land?
Right on. Yeah, we grew up definitely in a culture of people who were interested in whole foods and organic foods and homemade lifestyle. So, yeah, it's definitely self-sustaining kind of idea and credo, and I think that comes from having gotten high and seen the light, about the quality of food, the quality of company, the quality of entertainment, the quality of sound. I mean, look what Owsley did for the sound systems of our world. That takes a freak of nature to want to make your sound better.
I'd say that they tried to make fun. They tried to shame the tree huggers, and look at us now. There's a long history of environmentalism. It's so important for everybody to plant a tree. Kill your lawn is a new movement. Plant natives, and do your best to support any environmental causes. Happy Earth Day. Yeah. And this is like the hippie trinity, right? We have Bicycle Day, Earth Day, and 420. Yes. Like, these are serious,
they really
cultural, important dates for our community. Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any writing or music
coming from us?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Anytime soon?
Yeah, my daughter is an amazing songwriter and guitar player, but it skipped me.
You birthed a new generation is what you did. But what about you, Trixie?
No, I'm not a musician. I'm an artist. I'm still looking to get my studio set up to where I can just lounge and create cute little images that bring me joy. And that's a good life.
Aww.
It's a good life.
Right.
Yeah,
on.
Jerry definitely, Jerry and our mom definitely wanted us to be artistic no matter what. And there was lots of drawing paper, lots of paints, lots of crayons, lots of everything for us to, there was cartoons and comic books were a big part of our education.
Lots of comic books.
Yeah. Yeah. So drawing and entertaining yourself and it was always encouraged, thank God.
Still watching horror movies?
I try to avoid
absolutely.
them.
Yeah, I think there's a love for science fiction in our family, and definitely the The
Yep.
Twilight Zone era. We were all right there watching all those great new classics.
I wanted to join the conversation, and I live by 87 Harrington, where Jerry was born.
Wow.
And
Excelsior.
when we're walking our dogs and all that, I stop there. Sometimes I pray for Jerry. Sometimes I ask him to pray for me.
Oh, that's really nice.
Very cool.
And yesterday, and another thing about Earth Day and all that, McClaren Park is saved because of Jerry Day.
That's right.
Literally, that whole park, the whole community, the whole neighborhood where he grew up and, where he was born. Literally, the man was born at 87 Harrington, right? And the whole McClaren Park is an open space because they preserve it for that one day when we gather up to celebrate the man.
That's right. They were able to protect the name Jerry Garcia Amphitheater from the corporate investment team that wanted to come and rename it.
Yes, it was a big. It's always a fight. It's an
San
ongoing
Francisco
thing.
chose cultural
Yes.
integrity.
Uh-huh.
So yes.
No, and the community hasn't given up. Last year, him and I, for Jerry's birthday, we went and sat there and we said a little prayer and listened to some music and thought about Jerry. He's always on our mind. And then I wanted to add another thing. The man doesn't get enough credit. Because of him, Latin rock started. Carlos Santana was working at a TikTok, 17-year-old kid working at a TikTok, at one of those fast food places on 3rd Street. And a limo pulled up and Jerry lowered the window and then Carlos goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" He goes, "I'm a rock star." Jerry, and then he pulled up the window. The next day, Carlos Santana ran away to the Haight-Ashbury and never came back until he was a rock star. And Jerry, there's pictures from Jimmy Crowley and a bunch of people in the back. We saw him where he used to like to roll the window down, look out the limo, give that smile, that Garcia smile, and then pull the window back up. It's a classic.
No kidding. That's a beautiful story. Thank you.
And Santana never gave up. He told his mom the next day, he goes, "I'm going to be a rock star." She goes, "Well, can't you just run away only in the daytime and then come home?" He goes, "No, I got to go over there and live the life,
Right.
Goes, I want to be like Jerry." And to this day.
I think we're about to see a tattoo
Oh,
where he's lifting up
I
his
was a little
shirt.
scared there.
Okay.
Oh,
It's a
very
Carlos
cool.
shirt.
Carlos
Yay.
became Carlos because
With
of
the Jerry Garcia shirt
Yeah,
on
you
top.
bet.
Good outfit.
No, it's all
No.
in service to the music,
I think Aaron wanted to have a question.
I do. I had a question for you. You had mentioned a minute ago about how you've heard so many stories from people that the Grateful Dead changed their life. And I'm one of those people. I walked into my first show one person and left a completely different person. And it's been 30 plus years and I still don't know what happened.
Permanently warped.
Yeah, it worked. Did its thing.
I wish I knew what to tell you, but no, it's a common thing and it's a beautiful thing. And we want people to continue having that experience.
But
yeah.
But you have such a unique perspective on this whole thing because of who you are and everything that you've lived. What's your take on that? Because you've seen it from the inside out.
Right. Why it's so transformative.
Why is it the Grateful Dead that's doing that? Why is it Hunter's lyrics that are doing that? What is that?
I think our common consciousness creates what we need, and that's part of the providing for ourselves as a greater consciousness. As a soul, humanity soul. We help bring that because that's the medicine we need to excel and ascend.
Yeah, and I've read books about transformative religious experience. There's, people go climb Mount Everest, people go meditate in caves for years. And for a lot of us, it was walking into a Grateful Dead concert. And that it makes so much sense on one hand. And on another hand, it's the most incongruous, odd, weird thing that
Yay!
this is.
We love that.
Right?
Yes.
And it's
Turn things on their head.
exactly. And I just, like I said,
Yep.
getting to talk to you and hear your perspective on that is something special.
Well, think about the Grateful Dead as a gift that you give to yourself.
Oh,
There you go. It's just something, if you find it to be healing for yourself, that's a beautiful blessing. And bless you for accepting the gift.
I was always jealous that I didn't have the aha moment that, where, oh my God, I get the Grateful Dead because I grew up in San Francisco. And so over the year, I had no idea. I just organically, my high school friends one day in 1975 said, "Hey, there's a free concert down at the Lindley Meadows. You want to go?" And it was the Grateful Dead. Now, I guess I did have the aha moment because I went and bought the Blues for All album the next day. But it wasn't like shocking. And then I just organically grew into it, and I
Right.
feel so fortunate. Right? So I didn't have the aha moment,
Right.
but
It grew on you like a fungus.
what did she
It
say?
grew on you like a fungus.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just grateful for that. But it is interesting to hear Aaron's story and others. And it must be, I mean, I just don't know how you guys see that and just say, I mean, I'm sure that's not what your dad was looking for. We know that. But at the end of the day, it was his calling.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of I mean, first of all, obviously Jerry was a very, a brilliant musician, first off. And like there's magic in, the way the notes are assembled and stuff. But I think the collective will of the 60s and of Haight Street and of psychedelics was that some kind of community or something with more purpose be created. And so many people were there supporting it and believing in it that it just had its own momentum. It was the band was one small part of a bigger machine. And now it includes, the fans are keeping it alive. The guy who threw this concert's a huge fan, it's a wonderful
like a
thing. It's
mycelium
alive.
network.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about is like you all have an opportunity to shape it as well as your parents did. They started something that outgrew this whatever, but like also you can like shape it or put your arms around it to kind of create the side stream, and so have you thought about that? And if you have, what kind of things have you done or like implementing or sharing?
I don't know. In keeping with Jerry's style was hands off, man. Don't really put your trip on other people and let people make a choice about things. Don't propagandize anything or just keep it free and easy, and people will. And if you treat people good, they'll treat each other good, and things will get better.
That is the legacy going on. That's rad that you have that mindset.
I think so.
That is.
It's hard to go by. I mean, there's a lot of times I want to be somebody who lays down and puts rules on shit, and I
think we know better what's right for someone else.
Yeah, and it's really that's where a lot of this innovation comes from, is letting people be as freaky as they are and see what comes of it.
Yeah, and I just be remiss if not talking about, just a beautiful collaboration. I'm a big Hunter fan. I'm just poet, and then having such a great vessel, right, that didn't want to push it or mold it into anything, and letting the universe sort of figure out what to do with it, right? I just think it's so cool that they came together. It could have been an amazing lyricist, coming together with some power, rock star that, so the fact that they came together is, I think, what really allowed it to then just take on a life of its own.
There you go.
I think it shocked them as well. They didn't know what was going to come of it. It was a trip for them as well.
Yeah.
No kidding.
That's a really good point because nobody says that too much. They didn't know it either. Like, it's kind of like falling in love with somebody. You don't know where that relationship is going to take you.
Yeah.
And
sometimes bad places.
Usually bad places.
Yeah.
Hey now, come on.
You know what I think is really cool now is I just think of all those song credits I looked on after songs on albums, Hunter Garcia. And this morning we woke up and I heard that we arranged this and I thought we're going to see Hunter Garcia and it's two ladies. And it's awesome. It is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're here for it.
Yeah.
We're here for it. Yeah.
So,
women,
we love each other.
Women
so
bring the
this is
flowers.
We're all good. We're good buddies up here.
Yeah.
At the end, when Jerry was playing a lot with the Jerry Garcia band, and he tried to convince your dad, and he did convince him to play with them, right? And then, but the argument like they had, and he goes, well, come on, there's exceptions. Come on now. You know what I mean? You got to play once, at least, But we always thought it was like a thing amongst us that the coolest rock star that ever lived was your dad because he didn't have to go on stage. You know what I mean? And yesterday when you said, we're family, that said it all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Being cool.
Yeah, no, that's the coolest thing. To be a rock star, not to have to go on stage. That's a rock star.
My favorite thing of his that he used to say to us all the time was when we'd leave, he'd say, remember, ABC, always be cool.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Do you feel like that the strength in that relationship between your dads was passed on to you too? Or does this relationship stand alone on its own?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
It seems like, you know what I mean?
I
Such
mean,
a
at
strong
this
energy.
point, we're both witnesses to this phenomenon that's going on. It's like, holy shit, are you seeing this? Yeah, I'm seeing this. This is crazy. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Hey, you know, this experience right here. It's all, but no, they had a special relationship. You know, we are not creatively making things, but maybe if we
just like-
collaborated, we make some art.
Well, before,
But no, that was special between them.
yeah,
For sure.
before we talked, you all were standing over there, and I just looked over, and there's just like a powerful force between. You can tell without knowing the relation, if just like looking at three women near each other, you know, like wow, there's something there.
We like to make each other laugh.
Laughter's the best
Although
medicine.
I did see Mountain
You
Girl
know?
over there, and I asked her what she thought of this, and she said, "God help all of you."
I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to do this, to get a little recording of the blip of the fabric of the Grateful Dead community,
Right on.
and what a beautiful representation it's turning into, you know?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I just had to say, I saw you two over there, and you were like, wait a minute, is that the girl we were talking to? Did we actually agree to something? Because so thank you. So thank you for actually
Yeah, well,
following.
thanks to Vince from Leftover Salmon.
Exactly. Yeah, Vince is so cool, right? It was him. I think he's the one who
Yeah, he
suggested
tricked us into it.
Have a choice. So thanks,
That's because
Vince.
we roped him into a podcast last week.
We did.
So
We did.
he
In
wanted to have some
Maui, too.
misery.
Right.
Good.
But
Well, this
anyway.
was very much like an acid test experience. So good job, you guys. Making us
Thanks.
do something with this kind of electronic equipment during a show.
Right?
Like,
It was
it's like
good.
full on chaos getting this together. So I really enjoyed that part about it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much again.
I had a hard run running from your window. I was always running. I wonder if you can.
Betty Cantor Jackson, hello.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Yeah, right.
It was about a year and a half ago we had a thwarted attempt to interview you, so thank you for your patience and your
We're
willingness
going
to
to
come.
try this again.
We're going to try it again. And let's just be honest, having an interview with a person that is a recording expert and having it not go well is just not a good way.
It was a bad look. Yeah.
bad look?
It was a bad look. I can't believe you're recording me and this is the recording that doesn't work. Oh my gosh, you want me to record it?
Yeah, actually, yes.
Yeah, please.
Would have been the answer. And that was at Skull and Roses a year and a half ago. Unfortunately, that didn't happen this year. So,
Right, canceled. Last
canceled. But here we are at Terrapin, Sunday Daydream number 3. And this whole Grateful...
minute. Sunshine, isn't it?
what do I call it? Well, Sunshine...
Sunshine Daydream.
That's the name of the lyric from the song, but they call it
Oh,
Sunday.
they call it Sunday Daydream,
Yes.
do they? Oh,
Okay.
hey.
All right. Hey,
All right.
who are we?
Who knew? Some of these people obviously did.
Yeah, somebody did. I think I'm going to give Claire Lesh the accolades for calling it that. But go ahead, Tammy. You're jumping in.
Well, no, I just remembered something. I think we had an element of like the women are smarter during those, because we interviewed Trixie and we did that whole crew. And so just in keeping with that a little bit, I would love to start with that. Just sort of, and you talked a lot about it, about being a woman back then in the business, traveling with the band. Yeah, so I'm giving them a hard time today.
All right, women travel, yes. Being the woman that traveled with the band. Yes, it was a challenge. You just had to basically, I worked a lot on invisibility. You know, just do what I do without anybody really noticing, and therefore I was able to pull it off. Or fix it, or do whatever, and just be, like I said, as invisible as possible.
Was that because if they knew a woman was doing these things, it would have had a different look? Or?
Definitely there was an element of that, yeah.
Wow.
They, yeah. It couldn't be necessarily trusted or allowed to have that kind of influence on what was happening. You just have to do it And because it's working, because you fix it and it's working and it's really good, nobody notices. And they don't think has anything to do with you. It's working.
Well,
obviously it has to do with somebody else because
It couldn't be you.
Couldn't possibly be.
Do you think it's changed since back? I mean, how do you think it's changed at all, evolved?
Somewhat, yes, for sure, because there are other women doing it now. I mean, there wasn't another woman doing engineering. And so I was an oddball, but I could blend in and just, like I said, be as Invisalign discreet and non-resistant to whatever and just go with the flow and think, this is the way it's going to work. You don't follow the river flow. Right? This is downhill. This is where it's going to go. But you can make it work. Yeah. You just don't run into these obstacles.
Exactly.
But, just don't, confront them.
Right. I think that, because we did this before, it's important to maybe just talk a little bit about Betty and what she was doing.
Boards?
Betty Boards.
Who is she?
Who are they interviewing right now?
Well, like I said, people don't know what I look like because I've always been invisible. And I've seen pictures of me that are supposed to be me. In fact, the people that archive it, a picture of you. And they said, well, about this, somebody was doing a book and they sent me a picture that was a picture of me that was from the archive. And I went, that's not me.
Right, exactly.
By the way, that's Candace. And if you actually looked at the picture, you could see she's got an intercom headset on. She's sitting in front of a light board, and she doesn't look like me. Hey.
All those things. But Candace Bergman you're speaking of.
Yes, it's like, yes, there's a woman sitting at a board, but it's not a music board, it's not an audio board, and she doesn't have headphones on she has intercom headphones on. There's a microphone down here. She's on Clearcomms talking to the spot follower, guys and stuff. So anyway, I said, by the way, that isn't me. Could you? I've seen it. It's supposedly in several places. It's like, would you stop putting pictures of Candace and calling it me? I know you don't know why. You saw her. She was out front. Yeah. We were on the road together. I had these T-shirts made that hers said, "No, I'm not on the back," and mine said, "Yes, I am on the back," because she was out in the audience and people would come and ask her if she was me. And I just wear this shirt. And I'm on the stage and nobody asks me. And people, I see these comments sometimes about, I stood behind Betty, I watched you and all this. And I'm going, no, you didn't. Right.
No, you didn't.
Not a chance in hell. You were standing behind somebody else. You weren't standing behind me because I was on the stage. There's no way you were on the stage with me. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Well, despite those obstacles, you did get to the place where you were on the board and doing those recordings. How did that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did that because I did the studio albums and stuff. I was doing recording with them, and then I just started. When we weren't taking the things on the road, I did Jerry. I would go to all Jerry's gigs. We still and record all of his versions of his band. That was just. I went out and bought when we stopped doing Olympic, or when I stopped doing Olympic and the multi-track recordings. I got my own smaller setup and I started doing all Jerry's gigs. Just do 2 tracks. So I bought all my gear, bought the tape, did all the gigs because he was my friend. I really loved the music and I loved doing it. It was fun for me. It was an art form for me and he loved it. He'd come over the next day and listen to everything.
That's awesome. I don't think we heard that before. I don't think you told us that.
No, maybe not.
Yeah,
that's
really
stories.
cool.
Which one came out?
Yeah, that's
now I smell it. Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's right. So you guys were friends. So therefore, the woman thing wasn't getting in the way of you and Jerry.
When Jerry wanted to do something, he called me. He wasn't intimidated by me being a woman. Plus, he had listened to my work. He just come every morning, stop in and listen to the show the night before, and have a cappuccino and go to the office. But he knew my work, so he also. Plus, I was Olympic, but I was the one that actually did most of the recording. And Bob would be doing the front of house, and I do the recording.
Okay.
That's how that worked.
Right.
Were they ever trying to? Was there anyone like a man potentially trying to get that job or take your place ever?
They didn't really, not with Olympic or that. I did it. And I did it well, and I did it right, and there was no nobody that did it better. So
That's right.
at
I said,
that
why?
point,
I
so
love it.
I didn't
Yeah.
have to. I wasn't replaced. And then when I started doing my own thing, I was doing my own thing, and Jerry loved that. So Jerry. And then when it came down to Cats Under the Stars, I built Front Street, our studio, because I was recording in rehearsals. And Ron Tutt, the drummer, liked the drum sound I got so well. He encouraged her, can't we just do it here? They were scheduled to go into a studio in the city to record an album. And Tutt just loved the drum sound I got. I just did it on my set up, recorded some on my Nagra through my old tube mixers. I was using
Tube?
tube.
Oh,
Yes,
I
I had.
love that. Oh.
They were left, right, and center. That's all I had. They didn't have. There was nothing in between. So that's all you got was left, right, and center, and you had to deal with that and how you mic things. That's really how I learned how to mic things for space. Was because I didn't have any. Were no pan pots. I didn't have those artificial positions.
Right.
You know, I have to do with the microphones to create the real.
A true art form, right? It was
It was definitely my art form.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's totally. So
then I built Front Street and we did Cats. Because Jerry just turned to me and said after Ted asked him if he couldn't just do it there. It was our rehearsal hall. And Jerry just turned to me and said, oh, you can have a 16-track here tomorrow, right, Ventura? You know, I was like, sure, Jerry, no problem.
Yeah.
I know. You ask it, I make it happen. So I did. And after that, we did some recording with just my mixers, you know, which is really bizarre to try to do with that, try to make an album that way. And then Jerry let me buy a board, so then I got the Neve, and
so
that was about 2 huge crates, all these pieces. I'm going stacked this high of schematics, and I'm going, okay, let me put this together. You know?
Wow.
It was one box was a frame, the other box was all the components.
Wow.
So I just put it all together and plugged it in and made it work. It was funny when we came to the next one. I'm going, okay, Jerry, let's see if we can make it over now. There's a button here that says OD on it.
OD?
Yeah, it said OD. Let me hit that and see what happens. It was fun.
It's amazing. So you were really the only one truly archiving it in that way.
Yeah.
And so thanks to you. Now, the last time we spoke, so have there been any more of those tapes found? Because, a lot of them were sold, right?
They were auctioned
Auctioned,
off.
sorry.
That's a long, ugly story. But yeah, my house got auctioned off because I didn't get paid any royalties for 9 years.
Right.
I had a problem with the bookkeeper who didn't go on the road and didn't like it that I did. What can I say?
Right, say the truth.
She
Right?
just told me I didn't have any, and so I didn't get any for 9 years, so I lost my house and everything. All my gear.
Wow.
And the tapes, which I tried to put in the vault.
Right.
I did make an attempt.
Right, you offered them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was afraid because Brent and I had split up. We were together and we split up, and then he was paranoid that I couldn't be around the band because Brent and I weren't together anymore. It's weird. Anyway, so I couldn't put anything in the vault.
Terrible. Yeah.
So that's something that's different. Like, because if it were the other way around, it would not be a big deal, probably, right? If it was a woman in the, right?
Oh, yeah, it wouldn't have been.
Yeah. Damn.
It's strange. I didn't think I could possibly be in that position because I'd been there so long and it had nothing to do with anything, and I still did what I did, and I was still the recording engineer, and I still made the records, and I still built the studio. But so that had to go around for a while before I came back and did all the Radio City and the Warfield gigs, because we did an album with Gary Lyons. We did Go to Heaven, which was
wow.
He was a trip. Anyway, yeah, he wouldn't record Mickey. He left town. I didn't do all Mickey's parts.
Oh wow.
That was kind of funny.
So, are you doing anything? I don't know, consulting at this point? Are you back in?
Somewhat. I do some mastering when people bring me stuff, and then I do gigs from time to time, and I have an archive of tapes that some of it. Plus, I spent several years on the road with Chris Robinson's Brotherhood, and then with couple of his other bands, offshoot bands, Greenleaf Rustlers, and As the Crow Flies.
Wow.
Did shows with them and traveled with them. Went around the country with Chris Robinson Brotherhood, and went to Europe with them. And there's still an album we did that I recorded in Europe that is on hold. It's in the Yeah, in the vault. In the vault, ready to go whenever they decide to put it out.
In the can, as they say.
Yeah,
right?
in the can. I also have another Green Leaf Rustlers, which is way cooler than the first one.
Right. What year was that you were with Chris?
Oh, from 2011 through 2019 or 2020, I guess, yeah. 19 to 20, that New Year's was the last gig before the pandemic shut us down.
I feel like Chris has been a little scarce in the Bay Area recently. I haven't
I know,
seen
well,
him.
he's been on the road with the Crows again, you know.
Yeah. Is he still living out in West Marin?
No, he's moved back down to L.A. From West Marin, he went to Colorado, and from there he's in L.A.
Yeah,
he gets to be closer to Ryder and spend time with his son that way, which is great.
Yeah, because
Plus the L.A. scene. Chris kind of likes that.
He does.
As we know.
He was married to someone who was very immersed in it, right?
Yeah, I'd say that. I'd say that.
Go ahead.
Well, I just want to go back to the Betty Boards a bit because you ended up, because of the whole royalty or lack thereof situation, the whole odyssey ended up with you, if I'm remembering this correctly, selling, after you offered the recordings, you sold them off, and then
I did not sell them.
Okay,
no, they were auctioned. I had nothing to do with it. I couldn't.
You had them in storage?
I had no money.
Right.
They who took the foreclosure of my house, they moved my stuff, put it in storage, and I had no money to get it out of storage. And in order to pay the guys that moved it, I had absolutely no income.
So those were physically in your
were auctioned
presence.
because I didn't pay the storage fees because I didn't have them.
Okay.
And I didn't put them there in the first place. So.
Right.
So they got auctioned off.
And then Rob Eaton comes in somewhere along the line.
Well, there was somebody who had bought. There were, I think, 3 lots of my tapes were in 3 different. I guess different storage units. I don't know because once again I didn't have anything to do with it.
Right.
Well, I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have $1 in it. Plus, I wasn't notified of it, so I had no idea what was happening.
No.
So
just all these cracks in the system.
There's a few.
Yeah, just a few. But with Rob's help, some of these were.
Rob was hired by one of the people that got a batch of, a certain amount of my tapes, and he went through them and. He got some of the older ones because a lot of my tapes that Rex and I had made, the older tapes were in cases that were in a garage that had been flooded in San Anselmo. It was flooded like 5 feet, so a whole bunch of those tapes were all moldy. Those are some of the batch that Rob got. He cleaned them all. He picked them. He cleaned them all up. It was amazing. And he transferred and digitized them all.
Oh, that's great.
And then that was the service he did for this guy. So he got, was hired to do that.
Okay, so that
so
was
then
he
leaked. He leaked them.
I was wondering how they got.
He dubbed me Betty. Rob dubbed me Betty Boris. That was his name. These are the best because he could tell he's listening to. Well, wait a minute, these are a whole different movie. Right. These aren't audience tapes. Holy shit.
Wow.
For our audience, it seems like, isn't there, there's a really good article that kind of tells your story. So we looked it up before. We've got
I think there's a few, huh?
I know. I would love to kind of direct some people because
there's a lot of there's things that I've heard that have nothing to do with my reality, but
I think that's kind of part of your point here is you didn't have anything to do with any of that. You have the boards there, right?
Eventually I came back. I went to Oregon. I took a year of nursing in 2 months. I got a fast course and became a nursing assistant and worked with mentally retarded folks and all that, and worked in a hospital in Oregon. And when I only stopped after a few years and came back down, and then I met with the band and finally got issued royalties for Europe 72, which I'd never gotten.
Oh, Europe 72.
That was the thing with Phil, because I was insisting on the original agreement, which was to pay Matthew's producer's fees, and Phil didn't want to because he didn't do any of the recording. He just wanted to pay me, and because I insisted, he went with the deal that we made in front. My integrity shoots me in the foot every time. I said, well, we made this deal, and I got to stick to it because, Bob would be all pissed off. But he didn't do it. I said,
that integrity will pay off.
Well, I don't know. Phil decided I didn't get any then, since I wanted Bob to get some too. Then I didn't get any, so.
Oh my God.
So I went 15, I don't know. I got in 89 or 90, I started getting royalties for Europe 72. But dumbass that I am, I called Bob up and told him, oh, they've given me royalties now, so I think you could call in and get some. He called in, and he's working for his father, and he's a millionaire, you know, right? And he calls in, and they give him half of mine instead of giving him his own.
Oh my God!
Dumb! I did it again.
What?
I shot myself in the other foot.
Oh my God! We gotta come up with a new gig for you.
I know.
You don't tell anybody about it.
What an odyssey, huh? My goodness.
Oh yeah, it's been strange. Anyway, but after that, I got into working with. I did some hot tune. I did some stuff at the Fillmore and did some recordings, and then I met Chris, which was later, and I was helping set up at a Wavy Gravy thing, and I decided I'm gonna introduce myself to the band. I thought maybe Adam was gonna have a high top hat on. I didn't know. I was helping, I didn't know. So I introduced myself to Chris. I know who you are, and I'm going, okay.
Oh. Is that good or bad?
Right. Oh, I've been caught. Oh my God, I've been invisible for so long. I just stand in line next to people, hear them talking about me, and they don't know who I am,
Yeah.
So, what do you think about just the transformation, not the evolution, I guess, of this whole scene, like with the new generation and all these kids coming up and?
Well, I mean, it's more as far as.
Covers.
I mean, there's certainly a lot more women working in the field.
Yes.
They've been released, they've been liberated to be able to, and given the, you actually have the right to do it, and you actually are good at it, and it doesn't,
a lot more efficient.
Yeah, right.
Right?
And there's certain things we pay attention to. I don't know, I mean, it's, how gender specific any of it is, I mean, anything can be, it depends your tendencies,
Yeah, for sure.
I think.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Maybe, I like to make things pretty, so maybe that's my feminine role in it.
Yeah.
But that's important to me.
It's great to see you around the scene, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like since that time, it's gone.
We've seen you more.
You've been showing up.
Yeah, it's nice, though.
You've been showing up. You're there. Shout out to Daryl and to Diane, who.
Make sure I come a lot.
Make sure they come, but it's just great to see because you. Through that odyssey that you just explained and all those bumps and bruises and failures and successes, ultimately I would think it's a success if you shake it all out. You're part of Grateful Dead royalty, and having you be here and in your presence makes everybody feel good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I am definitely part of Grateful Dead history.
Yeah.
I'm raising you to royalty.
But yeah, when we tell people who you are, we'll say, oh yeah, of course they know, but they just don't know.
Right. Well, I'm going to tell people my name, and I can tell if they notice it, then I know they're a deadhead.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, you're not a deadhead.
Simple as that. What do you think of the Grateful Dead getting recognized for the Kennedy Center Award? Did you see that?
Oh no, I didn't see that. Oh really?
Yeah, which is pretty interesting. And
well, I got it in the Library of Congress.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Go.
Tell us about that. Yeah.
The Cornell gig is the one that's in the library.
Right.
That's mine. So.
It is. Oh my God.
Not that.
Yeah,
I
well, that's a
get
big
anything
deal.
for it or have anything to
beat
say
them.
about it. At least it's there, and
It is there. That's cool. No, that's something. See? Royalty again.
Totally.
I feel that way. Did you, anybody take you to the Sphere?
Nope.
No.
Do you want to go?
Well, yeah, I'd like to go.
It's a big
crazy.
It's just
pretty crazy.
pricey.
Is it pricey? For what I would say though, when they recreate that Cornell auditorium where the concert was
did they
played,
do that?
yes, they do.
Oh. Red
And
Rocks,
you would probably
Cornell.
go, you'd probably shudder a little bit at that.
It's crazy. It's you feel they take you right there.
Cornell, I guess I was on the stage, right next to them. That's where I was from those shows.
Yeah.
76, I was in a dressing room, and then I decided to be right there where I could see what the hell's going on all the time.
Wow.
I'll just go to headphones, forget the speakers, just do it right here where I can see, which Jerry liked.
Yeah.
Because we communicated a lot on stage.
Yeah.
Plus, I was always the first one to notice when something happened.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did.
Yeah.
I was looking around, I always noticed. And the equipment guys, we were quippies, not roadies.
Right. Quippies.
The quippies,
Yeah, very
they were
different.
doing whatever they're doing. I was like, hey, you guys, get over there. And I ended up doing Weir Stack when he went wireless.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I took over his doing my recording and didn't set Weir up because it was wireless and antennas and weird stuff, and he didn't want to deal with it.
Makes
Bob
sense.
gets a little crazy about his
his amps?
equipment, his amps.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh. So I have a question. So, like, when people start asking about, everything, is there a moment that stands out? Probably not, because there were so many moments. But is there something?
A lot of moments.
There's something that
There's Altamont, there's Woodstock, there's things like there's Watkins Glen coming in on the helicopter, parting the crowd at Woodstock, riding in a limo with Jack and Yorma coming into was something I'll remember for sure.
like looking at that crowd, right?
Yeah, I was like, holy crap.
Wow.
I just, not too long ago, saw the 50th anniversary movie. And I watched it. I never did watch the first one, but I watched the 50th anniversry right near the end. It's like, I'm looking at myself, looking at myself, and
it was you, right?
Oh my God, that's me.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Gorgeous.
My own eyes,
Quite a looker. By
Yeah,
the way.
I'm telling you,
When
she
you
was
see the correct photo
Yes.
of Betty, you'll see she always will be quite a looker.
Yeah.
Gee, thanks.
And so what
I'm
about
never
now?
proud of myself that way at all.
I'm telling you.
Oh,
I got a complaint from Big Steve before. He said, you always relate to everybody as a person. And I go, well, yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
He says, and every once in a while, remember you're a chick and the business is off.
Of course.
You gotta be kidding me.
No.
Oh my God.
Kidding.
Oh, that's right. Just put it out there.
Chick. You remember I'm a chick. Oh, really?
Yeah, thank you.
It's really nice of you because I'm here to do what I'm here to do. When it has nothing to do with being male or female, it has to do with the gig.
Yeah.
And making the music happen,
Did you spend any time at Terrapin during its run?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see Phil a lot more when it was Terrapin because I knew how to see him.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I never run into Phil anymore because Terrapin's not there.
Yeah.
And how about all that and the fact that it's still going? I mean, it's shut
I'm
down.
glad it's still going because the people really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
They really did. And I know it was a lot of work, and I understand why you don't want to deal with all that anymore. I mean, that's like,
that's a lot.
that is huge.
And throw a restaurant into it too,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, a restaurant and then book the shows and do it all, making all that stuff work and all the, it's a phenomenal amount of work. And if you don't want to just sign your life to that, but you still get to have that sort of thing.
The spirit is here, is it not?
Yes, it is. It's absolutely.
So cool. It's so cool.
We're
I
very
think
thankful
it's
for that.
excellent. Yes.
Do you want to ask your vaults question?
Well, that was sort of a little bit it. Like, if somebody put, that was the question. If somebody put like in a vault all of your experiences and everything and they were able to, you said pull out the best one out of it,
There's some really good ones in there.
Yeah, exactly.
I only gave you the tip of the
tip of the iceberg. Or how about look at it this way? Because what we're doing here, as this scene keeps perpetuating the music, is trying to archive the moments, right? And so maybe it will be the hieroglyphics someday, and they'll pull these recordings out and say, "Wow, that was going on." And it's different than a photograph, right? It's the thoughts and this sort of the sensitive vibe of the green room situation. But part of that is we'd kind of like to know, like, if somebody were to open up a vault of Betty Cantor Jackson's life, what would you want to be on the top?
Yeah, how would you want to be portrayed?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if they were to go through the vault of all your stuff, I mean, what would you hope they would get from that? What is that really exemplifies?
What was that?
I said smart and artistic.
Yes. Okay. There you go. See. There
Beautiful.
it is. Well, I think you've met that challenge. I think anybody who knows you knows that, right? So.
And resilient.
Yeah.
Resilient for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Betty, thank you
I think you should
so much.
mentor and consult and get in there. Yeah.
I'm mentoring Daryl right now, learning how to do PAs. I've done a couple with him, and he's learning. He really wants to learn more about it. It's fun. I've been having fun doing that.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that one. Yeah.
Well, we can't thank you enough for spending the time today, especially in round 2.
All right, hopefully this got recorded right.
Yeah,
I don't have to throw it out.
Did you see Dennis constantly looking down?
I did check a couple of times.
We get so paranoid.
Yeah, that's right.
Finally have Betty.
Yes, and And there goes
I know.
Nika. Nika, you're
We've been
coming out
talking
today. Just so
We
you.
need the rock stars.
Yes,
I know.
we do. We need the ladies.
Royalty.
The A-list.
Royalty.
You're coming in here soon, Nika.
Yeah, you gotta come.
Betty, go enjoy the rest of your day.
All
right, you guys.
And
Thanks
let's,
so much.
and let's go
Yeah.
find that joint.
Yeah, where is that joint? Damn, I'm
Fall
ready
or
for that.
something?
All right.
Yeah, all right, bye.
All right, bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. Is this mine?
Like the old man getting
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Tales from the Green Room, a presentation of Mount Tam Media. You can hear more spontaneous stories from the secluded confines of green rooms on our next episode. To experience all Mount Tam Media productions, including the Woman or Smarter podcast, log on to mounttammedia.com. We'll see you at the next show.